Oh, hello. Good evening. I don't know if I'm the one kicking this off exactly, but thrilled to be here. Glad you could join us. And I'm going to be jumping off here about my presentation today. Really, it's going to be a discussion. Um, uh, I just have so many tabs on this, and kind of I just like to keep it focused. But if you want links to what I'm going to share that information, I will gladly provide links for my reports and research in the chat for everyone, as well as attach it towards any information coming after this webinar. But I'm thrilled to introduce myself. My name is Christian Bauman, and I'll be here presenting this webinar. We had a previous webinar about marketing in the agentic age that we had done prior, and kind of I discussed about Google's Frontier CMO and just the way that we're just creating a more frictionless experience for shoppers. And it's one thing interesting about this is that this is a field where the customer experience will ultimately decide. That's ultimately what it is. I've learned 15 years from being an SEO that you're not going to just be able to machine, algorithm, code, process, robot, what have you, technology or way into solving a user experience situation. And that's going to be really at the core of what we're going to be discussing and presenting in this quick presentation that I have for y'all. Oh, hi, Malcolm.
Christian.
I see you joined. I didn't know
Hey,
if I was
buddy.
kicking things off, so
No, of
I
course not. I'm so sorry. I was busy with some technical difficulties earlier, and I'm like, so, there was a video and some audio playing when you joined. I was trying to get that to stop. Uh, but I just want to thank everybody, and especially you, for joining for joining us today. Hello, everybody. Hi, I'm Malcolm. I am the head of marketing at Workforce Institute, and it is my absolute pleasure to introduce you all to today's speaker, who is Christian R. Bauman. So just to give you a bit of a like background about what Christian is doing and how we know each other, Christian and I are our colleagues who were pretty much at the forefront of AI testing at the organization we used to work at together. So we have all heard the immense buzz surrounding AI lately. Well, not really late, like about the past year and a half. But today we are joined by someone who really specializes in the practical reality of these tools. So Christian is a recognized expert uh, at the intersection of marketing and technology, known for providing the grounded, high impact insights that many organizations in the US need and navigate throughout today's digital landscape. He is a frequent guest expert here at Workforce Institute, and today he's going to help us move past the jargon. So he'll be diving deep into how AI is fundamentally transforming demand generation, specifically how it changes the way we plan campaigns, how I, as a marketer myself, defines my own KPIs, and how other organizations are redefining their KPIs, and how we can lead our marketing teams and our other teams into an AI driven world. So we are so thrilled to have his expertise with us today. So please join me in welcoming Christian. And Christian, the floor is all yours.
thank
Thank
you
you.
so much, Malcolm. And yeah, you and I do go way back, working in the same marketing department prior, working on content together and doing content marketing. So it's been an incredible journey throughout all this, and still there's so much greatness to come. Um, I do want to kick off today's discussion about transforming demand generation, KPIs, leveraging AI into your setup for campaigns and marketing and advertising. And really, we're going to focus on the potential. and what new practices we're seeing that have really taken over. Reports I'm going to share is from the IAB. My mind is slipping right now what that one stands for. Um, the AI by McKinsey State of AI report in 2025. Google's marketing guide to reaching consumers at the speed of AI, and I'll provide links when I reference these pages that I'm going to be presenting from. But to begin, AI has been in the mainstream being used in business operation. I would say probably it's been a good 3 years. And in 3 years, we've seen a lot of growth towards AI becoming reliable, scalable, and of course, I mean, even emotional attachments to it. When you look at the new version of ChatGPT 5.5 came out and why people are actually raving about it because it kind of goes back to what previous versions of ChatGPT that people liked that were able to connect and speak with could format better. At the same time, ChatGPT also launched an amazing new image generator that can now create infographics that blow my mind. And what I love about it is the capability for that AI stuff has always been there to create infographics and stuff. But the cool part is, and what I love, is that it doesn't look like AI. And let me just give you a preference this, okay? I started off being an SEO for some of the agencies that were basically selling like the health supplements and pills for like you would see on late night television. Let's leave it there or whatever. Daytime doctor talk show hosts were saying about this cool plant in out there that can like make your metabolism work unbelievable. And then I was the one with stock photos of doctors making landing pages, writing all that stuff out, blah blah blah. So my background is that I worked for clients that were looking to game the system in search, basically for years. And what I learned and what we learned later on is that you just can't you the best you can do with search, the best you can represent yourself is really the best practice you can have. And over so much it's grown and evolved over time that we're seeing this new frontier and what's that about. So I'm going to kick things off by being a little sour grapes at the moment, okay? First off, frankly, a lot of businesses have reservations, opinions, feelings, emotions towards AI. Recently, for instance, I had a massive account on their video generator, Sora, and I was part of a big community of creators. I was making friends. It was actually creating a pipeline for my following on both Instagram and TikTok. But and then what happened was it just bursted. It just like collapsed, fell, and I lost all that community. All I really have are a few like really cool discords with a few other creators that I'm looking to go and create content in. So my best practice with this and whatever you see is always fail forward, so to speak, and just remember that things are changing, and it's really great that you stay fluid with it and you work with it because one of the things that is funny that I laugh at is that I have a former client of mine, and for years they were hating on using AI. They were like, no AI in copywriting, no AI in images, no AI in infographics, right? And they hated when it looked AI. When you saw something in the design that just like was a little, you would see it's kind of like some things, some of the earlier image generations we had with AI. I'd see your example, six fingers and images, and we see so many different examples of that, like how an engine is drawn with like extra cylinders that it needs to be had and everything. Okay, so we learn, we figure out how to clean that up and make it presentable and everything. And now you're able to create it and not look like AI. And everyone's like, wow, it looks like genius. But, anyways, I had a client that was still hating on AI. And then I go and see in their reviews after we broke up, went our separate ways, whatever, wish them the best. I go and see on their reviews that they got a client, they got a job that was a happy customer, left a review, and the person said, oh, I got this recommendation from Grok. And I just wanted to throw my shoe through my monitor because I was like, oh, okay, that's the state of the world here. Business owners are going to be, of course, boo, AI, more human. We're the resistance. We're fighting. But once that money comes in, once that dotted line happens, once jobs and opportunities start growing, and you see other people in your vertical that do what you do, And ChatGPT, Grok, Meta AI and Claude is saying Gemini is saying wonderful things about them, and they're not saying anything about you. Then next thing you know, you realize that you basically almost have like a new SEO problem, basically, and that's really what we're getting into. It's called that answer. It's AEO. It's these models that we have where we're trying to see if we can get answers and visibility within AI. Now, I want to go into this one here, the rise of the superpowered consumer, this new report from Google. And I just want to disclose I love thinkwithgoogle.com, Google's Frontier CMO. I recommend, I mean, keep things Google. Google's always at the forefront of this tech. And let's look over here on the right side here. We have AI mode. You know what I love about AI mode? It's the same example. You ask 100 people or put together a focus group. Do you want AI embedded in your search results? You want the AI to go and get a Gemini query when you search for something and do it. I know like probably like 90 out of 100 of those people in the room will who probably consider themselves like tech fluent, like they can read and respond to emails basically, which it says a lot, but I mean like they're at that level. I'm ashamed people do not read emails anymore, and I'm calling them out, but that's okay. That's our generation, you know. Hey, you know, that whatever it takes to get it, you know, you get it, you succeed. They'll all say no. I hate AI mode. AI mode is bad, but they'll never say thank you AI mode for giving me something that's better than the search results, for giving me an answer that was like beyond what I was looking for not only answering the question that I had, but anticipating the answers I would have and then beating them to the punch and getting to that forefront and doing that. Nobody's going to thank Google for doing that. Nobody. Nobody's going to congratulate Google for saying all that. But when it solves that customer journey, we're not thanking Google. We're tapping. We're not even pulling out our credit cards. We are tapping it. Tap to pay. Quick button, going into a PayPal or putting it in payments of 5 at the tap of a button. Because what happens is that we're not the real invisible champion of this is the benefit of removing friction in the customer experience. And it's invisible. We're not going to congratulate it. We're just going to pay it and use it and go with it. It's just like how Amazon Prime like just completely wins e-commerce. It's a set it and forget it kind of setting, but the savings and all that convenience it creates for it proves it and just gives you the customer the better deal, because we can complain about Amazon all we want, but nobody's quitting Prime. And I'm not going to repeat. I mean, that's been a punchline by stand-up comics forever, but it's true, and it's like the world of digital marketing and capitalism and e-commerce that we live in. So you have AI mode and you have buy for me with GPay. Now I have a search button that rips out my payment information and makes that order right there. I mean, there would originally be so many different red flags of that. Or try on right there, where you see the on the bottom part, a little button there. It says try on. What do they what do they do with that? I mean, now it's like I upload an image myself. I subject my data, my figures to everything to Google, and now I get to play dress up online and everything. All this creates is just so much less friction in the e-commerce experience, because they've literally replaced having like knowing what I want and then having expertise around it with AI mode. They have literally put together a way that I could pay for it without having to wait in line at a mall or anything. And then they took out the experience of a fitting room, provided that the image we upload and the camera we share of ourselves has the correct measurements. I can't vouch that for myself in that category there, but but, but yeah, you have those options, and that's what it is. It's the speed of AI, because no matter how many negative things or how many perceptions or reservations we'll have against AI, we're not going to go against the speed. We're not going to complain about the speed. At the same time, we're not going to go out of our way and say, look, Google has always wanted to make itself the fastest website in the world. They always cared more about the speed of their results, which made their search engine more competitive. But no one's ever going to say, wow, Google, that was so fast. That was incredible. But at the same time, when Google was able to download multiple versions of the internet itself and then reference that and go work for that and then go through its algorithm to give you its solutions and personalize that, you're not going to thank them. You're just going to bring out your credit card. That's just the world that we live in. I want to go back talking about with who I talked about in my previous discussion, which was Vidya um, Srinivas, um, Srinivasan. Srinivasan. Sorry, I couldn't read with the signature there. And
Great try.
she is the thank you. She's the vice president, general manager of ads and commerce at Google. Um, and I love what she mentions here in the first paragraph here. So let's read it. As consumers, we've seen it facing a purchase decision with dozens of open tabs, conflicting reviews, and a nagging feeling that you might be missing out on something better. For years, complex decisions required a heavy mental tax. Today, that friction is vanishing. In minutes, AI synthesizes all that information into clear recommendations. But as leaders and marketers, I know this shift can be daunting. You might be wondering, what does a faster journey mean? Does a faster journey mean less opportunity for brands to influence it? And the truth is that the super empowered consumer isn't avoiding brands. They're looking for inspirations, for relevant, helpful ads, products that aren't interruptions, but rather they are answers. And that's really where you have where we've empowered the consumer to just feel that they're frequently making the decision making and going through that. The other thing she mentions here is what we talked about in my last presentation, which is how much they're invested in Gemini. And the technology is moving beyond keywords to a deep, nuanced understanding of intent and context. Because really, what's always been behind the keywords has always been intent and context. You want to find something, you want to find out about something, you're looking to go somewhere. If you do not have these actions behind keywords, your keywords are meaningless. SEO is meaningless. There's just no point. The intention, the keywords have always served as kind of a map for how you could scope out and identify the intents of why different people observe and talk to you and look at your business. So AI isn't just making your marketing more efficient, it's making your brand the clear, confident choice at the exact moment it matters most. And it's Google, YouTube, and Gemini, and it's just been continuing to expand more and more. And I wanted to talk about here because, like, the other thing that we talk about is you mentioned a lot about the sales funnel, and we all understand that. I mean, if so, I'm glad to give a review: attention, interest, decision, and action. And that was really how they were able to map out the psychology of how you receive information about a sale, a product, a service, and how it goes to you. The thing is that the funnel still exists, but the consumer is no longer defined by it specifically. And there's different approaches towards it now where, for instance, you can skip so in some marketing campaigns, you could skip the bottom, skip the bottom, jeez, you could skip the bottom, skip the top, okay, and be able to find those successes there. Going back into this Google report here, and really this is just the best way for me to present it, is that customers are no longer going shopping. Rather, we are always shopping. And that's just the experience that that we have, that we do it. I just what is it? I just watched WrestleMania a week ago, and now I watched Netflix last night, and I became convinced that I watched a 2 day, 6 hour, I guess, presentation that was an advertisement for the Hulk Hogan documentary, and then I watched the Hulk Hogan documentary, and it was great. But joking aside, now we're finding ways to interweave and put in ads through our experience, but at the same time, like be able to not take away or subtract the experience. Of course, we end up taking away and subtracting the experience. I'm not here to defend advertisements and streaming services that you pay for. I do feel that pain. But the point is that there's a new path that we're finding towards purchases, towards making deals, towards making the sales. And really look at these four S's. That's why I scrolled down a little bit. I wanted to show you all this here. It's searching, shopping, streaming, and scrolling. Okay. And it's interesting because it's so much like we've always had these types of behaviors, this window shopping, this kind of searching and researching, um, just streaming content all the time, 24/7, and scrolling. I mean, this is just where our eyes are, and this is the real estate that we currently own. I know some generations disagree with this and may refer to this as brain rot. And yes, I agree to a degree. There's a ton of that. I mean, the scroll, for instance, it's replaced the channel surf of the 90s and 80s when we had cable television. Now we're going reel to reel and we don't even know what we're looking for or searching for. So there is a way to find intent within an audience that presents zero intent. They understand you doom scrolling may not know what you want, but there's algorithms and data involved that knows what you want. So the linear path to purchase, I mean, it's been fluid. So rather than moving from one stage to the next, or middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel, around the funnel, we're just in a funnel of consciousness, basically. And we have different varying degrees of understanding, desire, and intent towards that business, but we can find them in any different version because, like I mentioned earlier, this AI mode is able to anticipate the user experience and double down and go further on and see more advanced with it. And what happens is it just creates these modern times of today. Here we have the example of using altered reality (AR). I don't know if anyone's used AR in search results specifically, but I mean, being able to take pictures of objects and Google what they are, that's a thing in particular. Um,
Not since Pokemon Go, Christian.
well, I mean, you can now Google
Well,
all
I
that,
mean,
and
I
they
mean
show that example of it.
from my own personal experience, I'm not sure about our colleagues here uh,
Well,
on
Pokemon
the
Go is a
webinar,
textbook example.
but
Like,
but yeah, I like augmented reality back then was so cutting edge at the time, and yes, hundreds of kilometers or miles back then. So yeah,
so I want to point out here that annually on Google we see 5 trillion searches. 81% of YouTube US viewers agree that YouTube has creator content that helps them research and discover products when shopping. This is outperforming the social media average of 69%, which was already insane. And so now you start to see that they drive influence. The ads are more targeted, they're more measured. And over time we've seen more of that reliance grow. So now twice as often when shopping, consumers turn to Google and YouTube twice as often as the leading social media platform. I wanted to mention here because there was something I saw about I want to get into these other reports as well. But there was something here they mentioned about ChatGPT, and I wanted to find that where ChatGPT accounts for like 30% of the search that people are asking. Is now a search that people are 30% of consumers are asking for that as well, and that's something that's to Google. That's a problem for them. They're going to identify and figure out how they can fix that and create a more convenient option in their back and forth. I wanted to talk here too about this end of the year report about the state of AI in 2025, what they found. Going back to businesses connecting with AI. And so we found that most organizations are still in the experimentation or piloting phase. So nearly two-thirds of organizations have not yet begun scaling AI across their entire enterprise. And I wanted to find this report here that shows that no more than 10% of respondents to this survey report scaling AI agents in any individual function. So less than 10% of people report using AI to enhance their employee performance and work with that here. And you see where they have these categories in these different industries like human resource, risk management, knowledge management, IT, that could definitely benefit from AI. But you see that the adoption isn't quick there. Um, so, which means that there's still a wide opportunity for for growth in this, because some people here, like 23% of respondents, they're scaling an agentic AI and they're working with that an additional 39%. But the use of these agents are not widespread across like the operational categories, sometimes not even in the C suite. Like, really, a lot of these new technologies and things that are just there, the infrastructure is there to be great. Companies today still see themselves as experimental. So I think a lot of the advantage goes to businesses that are freelancing, that are more startups, that are able to take risks, but understand those risks and be able to to succeed in them, to work with them. I wanted to ask first, just take a temperature of the room. Does anyone have any questions? Anything you'd like for me to clarify? I'm going to share in the chat links to the reports. Um, Unfortunately, you have to. These are the ones where you have to register an email. You could opt out of their what is it? Out of Google's email mailing list. But primarily here, it's a state of AI from Google. The this other one, this McKinsey global survey from 2025 about the state of AI, and then here from what is it? IAB. Trying to load it because I have directly into the PDF. This is a state of data report from 2026 that has some pretty cool insights in particular to look at, because this is information a lot about data technology and really what is the cutting edge out there. So the way the one takeaway from what I've just said in the last 10 minutes is that the sales funnel has become more fluid. That's become a result of AI. Now it's really our understanding of intent as well as the anticipation of it has led to us just, instead of just bringing customers and prospects through the funnel or trying to map out where they are, like bookmarking them, like we did with SEO by creating those pages to get users into the middle of the funnel, those types of discussions. Instead of that, we're just directly engaging them and being able to send them to send them where they are. So IAB, by the way, stands for Interactive Advertising Bureau. Okay, and I did share those reports in particular because I wanted to share with you. Do I have it? Okay, okay, yeah, I have state data report. Excellent. All right, I'm just flipping through so many tabs. The other thing is that from there you see that fluidity occur within the funnel. So this makes AI search have more discovery, and with doing that, it's become more conversational. So in the attempt of that, that's why you have that AI mode in your results. And you can turn off the AI mode. You can. I know people who have. It's available. It's in the settings. You can turn it off to not have it and get your search results the traditional way. But you'll find that the AI results do create more convenience and do have just more understanding of your query and becomes more conversational. Because the truth is that there are still consumers who want to think and feel and apply through keywords. But in today's e-commerce, we have to think it behind it. Think with keywords in the rear view now because we see the intent. Now queries are more conversational, they're more open-ended, they're more visuals. instead of looking for something we want to look up, we prompt sometimes these search engines to filter out the results and just tell it exactly what we want. So we're no longer optimizing for best software near me, pricing, because Google's automatically looking out and answering those buying questions for us. So no longer do you have to create that kind of content that says shop near me, shop this person, shop there. Like they're able to see that. So you're able to get like a better ecosystem and to work with them. So let's talk now about this new thing here where according to this International Advertising Bureau report here, what it said is that AI can now support. Let me look into its key insights here because it leans on exactly what I was looking at as well. But, but okay, thank you for your patience. All right, great. So the State of Data Report 2026 here. So some of its key insights here um, is that AI can help unlock $32 billion in media investment and productivity in the next 1 to 2 years. That's massive because I see it there. Just being able to adopt it better and just have people that are better at using AI in higher operational positions that are able to fine tune and streamline the process. I'm not trying to say the people on the top running these businesses like are not doing a good job or they're doing what they can do, obviously. But it's just that we haven't seen AI grow business or integrate itself further into the business practices to the point of that, and that's the opportunity cost. I would agree it's at the tune of 32 billion. Um, Now, concerns with AI may inhibit the progress of improving advanced measurement as well, because there's always going to be issues and, for instance, challenges that we're seeing now with legal and security risks and data privacy. Those things are all coming about as that debate goes, which has its merits. It's there are rights to privacy and practices and ethical use of AI that we have to discuss and do. But this will continue to create we're going to see more challenges and back and forth as especially in regards towards that growing with AI adoption towards businesses and those challenges. So really, AI adoption is underway, and they are expected it to explode and grow. It just hasn't fully blossomed yet, but they're saying that there's within 70% there will be growth within 1 to 2 years, and you'll see things moving about and practices get reinvented here and there, but it's just going to be scaling in just more practices once people are able to see the benefit of this. And like I said, I mean, once you see a business, they're bringing in money because Grok's recommendations, they're going to say, why am I spending all this money on YouTube ads when Grok is telling people to come here and to work with that. So I think these reports are fantastic as well because they break down, like for instance, how AI can upskill, can level up some of these businesses. So I love this chart here, which is the top 5 tasks automated using AI today about incrementality, attribution, and the marketing mix models. And these are the ones being used today. And you can see it's monitoring, collecting, sharing, translating. In attribution, it's the integration, it's documenting, it's configuration. In the model mixing, it's integration, scenario planning, organizing, QA. But then what they expect it to be in the next 1 to 2 years is going to be a matter of instantly being able to select targets and controls, having analysis and interpretation at quicker at a glance, and just instantly measuring and rejecting hypotheses from the incremental stages, which is a game changer really in terms of online advertising campaigns. When you look at the attribution, when we go there in a few years, it's going to be about normalizing, integrating data, scenario planning, matching the exposures to outcomes. And then when you get to the marketing mix, it's really about the normalization of data, collecting the media spend, performance data. You get a clear eye on maximizing ROI, ROAS, and you're just able to get more of those more of those insights that can work with. So the opportunity is it's definitely there. It's just that it's really a race to see who can really get ahead of being able to make the most out of these technologies. So I wanted to go to another point here is that going back to Google, where we see how search is different and how these demand generation has changed here. So we're more visual, conversational, and also open ended. It used to be originally being long tail, being more descriptive there. Now it's open ended. Now it's back and forth. Now it's what about this? What about that? What if I'm a this? What if I'm a that? And being able to put those in and do that. 25 billion visual searches monthly. Google Lens is used for over 25 billion. Yeah, visual searches. Younger users who have tried Circle to Search now use it to start more than 10% of their searches. So now they've appealed to how Gen Z, Gen Alpha is appealing, and now how they're connecting and finding because their money's going to jump into this economy soon too, and how that's going to process as well. So you want to look at how those avenues are growing. Queries in AI mode are 3 times longer than traditional searches. That's what it means, more conversational and open ended. We gasped to our last breath writing these long tail keywords and everything, but now we're just talking to users. In fact, now people, users about my age, millennial and older, are now not just using voice search, but just having full on conversation with a Google Gemini, and the way that that builds searches for them and recommendations is proving to have more accuracy than their traditional search experience that they work with. So 71% of shoppers coming to Google search have shown that they're open to trying new brands or products, that they're not loyal to a specific solution or provider of said solution. So they have that. But here's the important part. A significant portion of queries in AI mode are now leading to a follow-up question. And now when you're able to increase follow-ups and reduce friction, that's fluidity. There's no way you cannot have fluidity if you don't do those and have those things in practice. And finally, here, over 60% of all shopping and apparel searches show broad intent where users explore a variety of different styles. So, like, people have like greater discovery, greater search, and we got to start really seeing that the living room is now the new shopping mall, is now that new area and that new battleground where we're looking to come complete. So we're more intelligent, more personalized, and just able to get more return by having just a more precise thing that for you, the marketer, you're able to gain better insights of your customers. But as a consumer, it's really just removing friction, making it just just uh just more effortless. And we can see now shoppers, as we share in the sample, shoppers can try clothes on virtually. They can get personalized virtual visual inspiration, and they can even now. One thing that's crazy is that they're now able to get Google. There's now buttons to get Google to call a business you are on the way to confirm an availability or or service, or that the shop is open or will be able to see you for your needs. So the future of search is more intelligent, personal, and agentic, helping shoppers get things done with more speed and confidence. Here's the stat I was looking for. Sorry. Shoppers are 2 to 3.3 times more likely to say they use Google search versus ChatGPT for purchase decisions. And 40% of consumers who use Google AI mode to help with their shopping and purchasing say they're using ChatGPT less now. That's what Google wants. Like, Google wants to beat ChatGPT at what it does, at being a solutions provider there. So Google would definitely put this in their own internal report here. But what I like about this side here, it's an interesting page because on the right side is just a total flex. This is just Alphabet just sticking it to Sam Altman, and it's beautiful. It's great. We all love it. But on the other side, I'm still salty from Sora, so sure, you know. But on the other side, on the left side of this page, about the future search, you have really good practices here and these takeaways. And this is what um, talked about a little bit in the last presentation, but I want to share with you here. Is number one, make sure your online storefront is ready for AI agents. So claim your brand profile, submit clear shipping and return policies, and set up support info via Merchant Center. I just had a client, by the way, one of my own, today. Um, I'm still walking them through getting me access to their website for the Google Search Console, Google Analytics, but instead they gave me their Google My Business login. Not login. They gave me, you can't give someone else your login. They gave me the manager access. I'm now a partner with them. And I told him, I said, this isn't what I'm looking for, but there's a lot to this I can do. And now I'm going to retool their Google business and everything and do exactly that, like set up their policies and all the information I can for Google to collect that data and then just embed it into search and everything that is able to get that visibility. So connect your first party data and update your tag and data manager, implement conversion and cart data. So when you go into your Google ads, I mean, really look into this, like what type of data you're feeding it, like feeding it your consumer information, customer list, those kind of things. Google tries to create like tendencies and trends and just information that can really fine tune and help the targeting of your ads, like, and basically automate it to show the ads towards a higher prospect. So activate your performance here. AI Max for search, Performance Max, Demand Gen. These are three of the new campaigns that Google's been running. And a lot of times, a lot of marketers will like say, no, we don't need those. We always do it manually because it's commonly been a practice that doing ad campaigns manually, like with the right details, information, and research will get you the better result. But now the AI is learning itself and is geared towards being better than manual process. So as long as it has the data to work with, it's going to do its own leveraging and testing. And these three methods of it, AI Max for search, Performance Max, and Demand Gen, these are really going to be like some of the game changer things you're going to be able to see where it's not really an auto mode anymore. It used to be an auto mode, like what you want to bid for, how much you want to pay for it. But now in particular, like Google's just taking a deeper dive with it with this performance and it teaches itself from how it does that work. The last thing is really the step four, as well as the part on the bottom about agentic commerce, is this whole thing about universal commerce protocol, and it's really like a code. Let me take you to that page in particular because we talked about it a little bit in the in my previous presentation about KPIs in with AI and marketing. And this page here, ucp.dev, I want to share. And if you're doing any e-commerce, this is a very useful site to get well versed with. And it's really that there's a common language here by some of the big shopping companies. I mean, Etsy, Walmart. I mean, when you look at these six companies, Google, Wayfair, Shopify, Target, Etsy, and Walmart, I mean, that's a really, really big percentage of e-commerce that's done. So they've kind of helped and assisted with this coding and this practice here for um, for being able to identify products, businesses, and everything. And there's a whole presentation we can do on this in particular. Um, and it's necessary for people who are running e-commerce because all it does is it just creates more opportunity. And that's really what we're looking to do out here is just give more of those opportunities to just find visibility. So you gain your visibility, you remove friction, you're already on the right path. It's just that today's methods are just it's easier now to find those opportunities and they're gonna be able to favor those who create better opportunities in the user experience. The issue is that it's not so much that if your processes are inefficient or invisible or just not kept up to date, it's not so much that it's going to hurt your business as much as it's going to be exposed simply by having competitors and other businesses and other practices just being able to have a more fluid, more streamlined process to work with. So that's really the direction that we're going with. Yeah, so I wanted to present here. Wanted to see if I had any more notes I wanted to share with you. Yeah, just one last thing which is um, which is just from the State of AI article from at the end of 2025 here, and it's really that. Most organizations are still in experimentation. Nearly two-thirds of the respondents here have not yet begun scaling AI to the point that it's critical to their operations. 62% of survey respondents say their organizations are at least experimenting with AI agents. So they're interested. And then 64% say that AI is enabling their innovation in use level case cost, yeah, and such. And we're seeing that redesign and workflows with AI is becoming a key success factor, and differing perspectives on employee impact, that AI's overall workforce size of their organizations, we're seeing a different debate. But a lot of people, 32%, I mean, and a lot of people want to say on the surface, it's going to create workforce decreases. But we're starting to see 43% are saying no change, and 13% are even reporting increases in that industry as well. So that's really the lay of the land that I'm working for. And of course, in months, this will change over time, and so on and so forth. Will continue to evolve. But the main takeaway is to find those areas of friction and fluidity, and really just melt your sales funnel so you can meet people at any touch point, at any funnel, and you just stay open for more opportunities. I'd like to open up if anyone has any questions, or pass it over to you, Malcolm.
Christian, thank you so much. What I really enjoyed about you earlier is that you always, well, you said there's always an intent, even when it's just doom scrolling. And I think we can all tap into that. If we can find our clientele's intent, especially when doom scrolling is involved, uh, that will help us get a lot more leads and be able to tap into our market. Um, but also, you provided us so many incredible insights. Like, I think we all have a much clearer picture of how AI isn't just about technology, but how we shift our KPIs and our management strategies to match this new landscape. Um, I think it's always changing. It's constantly changing, and it's difficult for us to keep up as digital marketers. But having said that, I would love to hear if there are any um, comments from the panel today, or anyone who's joined us today as well.
Okay. No, thank you, Malcolm. Thank you for having me, for giving me the opportunity to talk at length about this. And I just can't help but say that even for it's a challenge for marketers to keep up, but when you're in that and you're in the weeds of keeping up, you do see that the more things change, the more they stay the same, and you start to see like just what ways, what practices these technologies favor. And my advice to you is always keep in line with the best practices for like what just connects the user better, what just does the best intent, because you'll see that it's not really so much as keeping up, but you'll start to see like just a matter of keeping up makes you so far ahead. And it's amazing, like just taking the step to understand this, to process this, to apply your business to this, already puts you ahead of so many other people, that it's just don't let it discourage you, because if you just keep practicing with it, I mean, 15 years ago, I thought I was a com- I thought I was a complete caveman towards all this, but I adapted, and it worked out in my favor. And so just finding that understanding and keeping and good practices and experience will take you far.
That is so true. Like, especially as a digital marketer, learning is lifelong. Uh, I'm sure you can agree with this, but because of how the industry is constantly changing, Um, you always have to be at the forefront of new tools, new AI tools, and how you can integrate them into what you're doing on a daily basis to increase turnaround time. Um, so I think what you presented to us today has been absolutely amazing. I've learned quite a few things today as well. There were a few things that I have not started implementing for myself that I am going to implement for myself. And I think that's quite invaluable for many of the people who join us today who are also just perhaps starting their digital marketing journey, uh, or who might have been in digital marketing for a while, but have just begun implementing AI strategies to their marketing strategies. So thank you so much, Christian.
Thank you, my pleasure. Thank you for having me, Malcolm, and thank you for everyone joining in too, and this has been grand. Yeah, so if you want one last thing, if you want to add me on LinkedIn, this is my account here, my profile here. Yeah, I would be thrilled to connect with you and everything and discuss further. But wish you all the best with your marketing endeavors. And yeah, you've all been great. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Christian. So if anybody here would like any a deeper dive into the programs we offer, please visit our website. Or if you'd like to engage more with Christian, please let us know and we will get you in contact with him. Also, have a fantastic rest of the day, and we'll see you soon next time. Thank you all.
Much appreciated. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, Christian. Bye.